Washington, AP, Senator Bob Corker is hardly the only Republican leader lambasting Donald Trump and raising dark concerns about harm the president might cause the U.S. and the world. Cool it, Senator Chuck Grassley said in Iowa on Monday, delivering a message to both men. And I think it would help if the president would be the first to cool it. Tennessee Senator Corker, with his Twitter broadsides and his explosive weekend New York Times interview, he charged that Trump could set the nation on the path to World War III, gave voice to concerns that circulate widely on Capitol Hill about an unpredictable president whose tendency to personalize every issue creates risks for the nation. But Trump's enduring popularity with a segment of the GOP base serves as a political muzzle that keeps most elected Republicans from saying anything similar, even those who believe it to be true. Grassley, who wouldn't be up for re-election until 2022, responded bluntly when asked about the situation. "I don't see how it's productive, and I think that two words would kind of answer your question from my point of view: cool it. I think it would be better if we stuck to the issues and leave personalities out of it." A few other Republican senators who provided public views on Monday aligned themselves with Trump, not Corker. For example, Montana's Steve Daines' office said simply that the senator has confidence in the president. GOP Senator John Barrasso disagrees with Corker, according to his office. Referring to Barrasso and Trump, the Wyoming senator's office said, "On tax cuts, border security, and rebuilding American infrastructure, they fight the same fight." Barrasso is among the establishment Republicans who face potential primary challenges from pro-Trump activists on the right, heightening the political dangers if they should break with the president. The Associated Press sought to contact all 52 Republican senators on Monday for their response to Corker's comments and ask whether they believe Trump is fit for office, a question Corker declined to answer in the Times interview. With the Senate on recess this week and many offices closed for Columbus Day, the inquiries elicited few responses, and those who did largely declined comment. Corker offered no solution to the problem he identified so graphically. Trump is the president, and few doubt that he will remain so, despite constitutional provisions for impeachment or for the vice president to take over if the commander-in-chief cannot discharge his duties. Moreover, Republicans' political fortunes remain tied to the president's. They need his signature if they are to rescue a flagging agenda and pass a tax overhaul, a goal many believe is imperative if the GOP is to retain control of Congress in next year's midterm elections. So unlike Corker, who recently announced he is not running for re-election in Tennessee, even GOP Trump critics will continue to mute their concerns about his behavior and try to work with the administration. Senator Corker, who's been a strong supporter of the president in the past, is essentially saying the emperor has no clothes, said Michael Steele, who served as spokesman to former House Speaker John Boehner of Ohio. But, Steele added, the president was elected under our constitutional system, and that's where we stand. Congressional leaders are going to continue concentrating on doing everything they can to get big things done for the American people, and they hope to have as much support from the administration as possible. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the target of Trump attacks after the Senate's failure to pass health care legislation, didn't directly answer when asked at an event in Hazard, Kentucky, whether he shared Corker's sentiments. Senator Corker is a valuable member of the Senate Republican caucus, and he's also on the Budget Committee and a particularly important player as we move to the floor on the budget next week, McConnell said. His comments underscored what has frustrated Republicans most about the Trump-Corker feud, which burst open Sunday when Trump began tweeting, inaccurately, that Corker had begged for his endorsement and decided not to run for re-election when Trump turned him down. Trump will need Corker if he is to get big tax changes through the Senate, where the narrow GOP majority thwarted McConnell's efforts to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And Corker also figures to be a key player if Trump moves as expected to unwind the Iran nuclear deal. Vice President Mike Pence, in a statement that never mentioned Corker, praised the president for achieving real results on the international stage. While critics engage in empty rhetoric and baseless attacks, Republicans do frequently complain about Trump's attacks on fellow Republicans like McConnell, his failure to stay focused on his legislative agenda and his tendency to make demands on Congress and then blame lawmakers for poor results. But those GOP comments are nothing like Corker's apocalyptic statements. For House Republicans, who face voters every 2 years and largely represent conservative districts where support for the president remains strong, there's even less incentive to turn against the commander-in-chief. 68% of Republican voters approve of Trump, though that's down from 80% in March, according to a recent AP-NORC poll. Representative Mark Meadows of North Carolina, chairman of the conservative House Freedom Caucus, criticized Corker, saying he finds those type of comments to not be appropriate, especially coming from the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, and certainly not in keeping with what I know of the way that things are conducted in the West Wing, having been there multiple times. It's really easy to be bold when you're not coming back, Meadows added of Corker. Associated Press writer Adam Beam contributed from Hazard, Kentucky. Marcy Gordon, Kevin Freaking, Alan Fram, Andrew Taylor, and Matthew Daly contributed from Washington. Copyright 2017 The Associated Press. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, rewritten or redistributed. Wine country wildfires killed at least 10 people Monday and dozens more are missing in Northern California, where 1,500 homes, businesses, and other buildings were destroyed across 8 counties, authorities said. More than 100 people were injured as a result of the infernos raging in several counties. The Sonoma County Sheriff's Office reported 7 fire-related deaths, while 2 people died in fires in Napa County, and another person died in Mendocino County's Redwood Valley. Sonoma officials set up a missing person hotline after receiving at least 100 reports of people unable to reach their loved ones since the fires ignited, possibly due to spotty cell phone service. Novice photographer talks about viral golf course wildfire photo. "We are a resilient county, we will come back from this," said Sonoma County Supervisor Shirley Zane. "But right now we need to grieve." California Governor Jerry Brown declared a state of emergency for the 8 counties, where more than 14 fires are burning. Officials said the devastation over the course of just a few hours Monday made the firestorm one of the worst in the state's history. The wildfires were so intense that a northern section of Santa Rosa was put under an evacuation order. The fast-moving flames jumped the 101 freeway, forcing hospitals to evacuate, as they destroyed homes and businesses. Largest ever LA wildfire spreads to 5,000 acres, sweeps city. The city imposed a 6:45 p.m. curfew to prevent looting of empty homes in the evacuation zone, said acting Santa Rosa Police Chief Craig Schwartz. Incredible video of patients being evacuated from Kaiser Hospital in Santa Rosa Napa Fire pic.twitter.com/cxf686rsnp. "We have had a number of reports in the evacuation zone and the fire zone of people driving around and suspicious behavior," Schwartz said. Coffee Park, a large Santa Rosa subdivision of dozens of homes, was leveled. "It's fair to say it's been destroyed," CAL FIRE Director Ken Pimlett told the Los Angeles Times. Wildfire that destroyed 131 structures caused by gunfire. Strong winds whipped the flames through areas of dry brush in scenes more typical of Southern California. Despite wet weather, officials said vegetation still hasn't recovered from a long drought. "We also had really gusty winds and really warm temperatures," said National Weather Service meteorologist Matt Mehel. "This time of year it does happen quite a bit. For the San Francisco Bay Area, our summer is late September to early October. That's when we have our warmest and driest conditions." Schools throughout the Napa and Sonoma valleys were closed for the day, and cell phone service was affected in Napa County, where residents and businesses experienced power outages and trees knocked down by the wind, officials said. Smoke from the fires drifted into San Francisco County, and as far south as San Jose. "The smell of smoke is everywhere throughout the county," Napa County spokeswoman Christy Jordan said. "The fires forced thousands to flee, and parts of the wine industry may be found to be ruined when the smoke clears." Several acclaimed athletes were among the evacuees as the flames creeped on the Mayakama Golf Club in Santa Rosa. Baseball legend Barry Bonds drove several guests to safety as the evacuation order arrived at the hotel, according to the San Francisco Chronicle, citing a friend of the former Giants outfielder. "This Santa Rosa neighborhood is gone. We are at Dogwood Sweet Gum. Fire still burning. pic.twitter.com/02zqvkiwmn." Barry said, "You're not going to believe this. It was crazy," Eric Burns told the Chronicle after speaking to Bonds. When he walked out of his bungalow, the flames were right there. The California Highway Patrol said it had used helicopters to rescue 42 people, including vineyard workers. Hundreds of firefighters streamed into the region as people fled. In cities safe from the fires, residents flocked to gas stations to fuel up and buy water and other supplies.